Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. Today I'm going to take you in my kitchen with me as I prep to make tamales for our Christmas dinner that we make every year. As I've mentioned before, we recently moved to Georgia, so we don't have any family here. It's just myself, my 2 kids, and my husband. But we have to keep the traditions alive, and so every single year we make traditional homemade tamales. Normally we're making 200-300 of them. Today I'm only going to be making like 30, 35 maybe. I'm also only going to be doing 2 flavors versus 3 that we normally do. This is kind of going to be a little bit of a 2-day video where we're going to just kind of mend them together. Reason being is because it's a lot of prep. So tonight I'm going to be making the pork. I'm also going to be making some pozole as well for Christmas Eve. So I'm going to prep, since I'm doing pork, I'm going to be doing the full amount of pork that I'm going to be making, and then I'm going to split it into 2. Half of it, well, a little less than half is going to be going for the pozole, and then the other half is going to go for the tamales. And so tonight we're going to make the meat, and we're going to prep for the tamale makings tomorrow. I just want to also say I am not like a chef or anybody who knows really what I'm doing in the kitchen. I'm just a mom who every single year cooks for my family, and normally I have my sister-in-law by my side who I miss ridiculously. It's just insane. But anyways, I'm just going to continue to keep things going over here, and hopes that one day they all come to Georgia to join us. I'm going to go ahead and take you on over here and show you what we have just in a minute, and then we will get started on the prep. I just took the meat out of there, gave it a quick rinse, and now it is inside of my pot. I decided to use a bigger one just because I want to make sure that I have enough room. And so it's all in here. You can sear it. I'm not going to this particular time. And then we are going to fill up the water. All right, so we are almost full enough to stop the water. Going to throw in a whole onion. Next is going to be some bay leaves. And we're just gonna sprinkle some in. You can use whole bay leaves, and then some salt and pepper to taste. This is what I'm using. We're just gonna put some pepper. Nothing is ever measured. You just do it how you think. I might add a little bit more later on as time goes on. You could even just use regular salt. It's probably easier to put it in than having to do this, because I'm pretty sure this is not enough for all of this water. I'm gonna have to get some regular salt. I'm just gonna use some table salt here. It's easier to get it in, pour it in versus twisting that thing. I guess I use a lot of salt. I don't like my stuff bland. So I'm gonna stick it on the stove and get it to brought to a boil, and I'll show you next. Let me just say really quick, the reason for throwing the whole onion inside, I guess it's just easier to remove it at the end. Definitely throw your onion in whole. Don't cut it up unless you want to leave it in, of course. So here you can see that there's kind of like this brown foam that is going to create. It's not quite there yet. I'm not going to mess with it just yet. You're going to want to remove that brown foam. Just kind of like skim it right off the top as the pork continues to cook. Okay, now you can see there is a lot more that is forming. So you're just gonna get yourself a little bowl here, one of these spoons, and you're going to just skim the top and remove this yuck stuff out. We don't want to leave that inside of there. So we're gonna remove it. More will create, so you want to make sure that you're checking on it periodically, just to ensure that you get all of it out. You might want to add a little bit more pepper if you're taking most of it out. So now it's time to make the chile for the pozole and the tamales. We are going to use 8 of these ones, like I had told you I was not going to butcher the name of this. These ones here, we're going to use 8 of them. We're going to remove all of the stems. Going to boil them with the seeds in. Just going to pull them off. You can cut them off. If they pull off, then that's great. If they don't, cut them off. This is the pot I'm going to be using to boil my chile in. So I'm going to throw in 8 of these like I had said. 10 of them if they're small. So I ended up using 10 because they were really small. I'll show you at the end what that's going to look like. And then we are going to add 6 of the California, 8 of them if they're small. We're going to use 8 of the California. And again, once I have got them all inside the pot and ready to go, I will show you. Here we have got our chile in our pot, and we are going to add some water and bring it to a boil. This is how I have it here. I didn't fill it all the way up. I filled it about halfway, maybe a tiny bit less than half. You could add a little bit more water if you'd like. I chose not to. So you're probably going to boil this for about, I say 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. I forgot to tell you that you need to put an onion. I used a half of an onion. You need to boil that in here also with 1 clove of garlic. And then once these are soft, once the chiles are soft, you're going to move them to the blender and we're gonna blend it all together. That's why we don't remove the seeds, just in case you're wondering. Make sure that you throw your onion and your garlic into the blender with your chile to blend all together. I'm just gonna use a bit of this water here. I don't wanna add too much of it. I'm gonna get the lid for this and I'm gonna blend it on up. Be careful because this stuff will stain everywhere. We need like a liquidy consistency. And now we are going to strain it. And we're just gonna strain this here. This is the first amount that I've poured into here. We're gonna make sure that we move this stuff around because we want the liquid in the bottom of this. Try to use a glass bowl if you're gonna be straining, just because this stuff will stain your plastic bowls or Tupperware, or, you know, if it's not glass, it's gonna stain it. So this is what you are left with once you have strained it. You shouldn't have no seeds, no chunks of any onion or garlic or any of that stuff that you blended in there, because you're gonna strain it out. The pork is finally done cooking. This is the full 4 pounds. I am gonna take these, some of this and put it back into the water that I'm gonna use for the pozole, but the majority of this is gonna be used to make the pork tamales that we're gonna use. I just didn't wanna leave it in the water so that it didn't get overly cooked at the moment, so I just removed it all for now. So now I'm going to remove a little bit that I plan to use for the pozole, and I'm gonna shred the rest of the meat that I'm gonna use for the tamales, so I can add the sauce. Any fat I'm choosing to get rid of, just because my husband is extremely picky and doesn't like it. If he tastes it, he won't eat it. So I'm just removing it. A lot of people leave it on there. A lot of people like it. We do not. So I'm just gonna remove it, as much of it as I can anyways. And then all of this is gonna get shredded up for tamales. And I normally just shred it by hand. You can shred it in your standing mixer if that's what you have. Okay, as you can see, I shredded all of the pork. Back there is all the fat that I will not be using. So we are going to boil the 2 of these together, the sauce and the meat. I'm gonna add the chile to the saucepan and boil the 2 together. And then you're gonna taste it along the way to make sure it has the flavor that you're looking for. You can add salt, pepper as needed. So we're bringing this here to a boil. And I did add a little bit more salt and pepper. And I also added some chicken flavor that I have here. This is what I added in, and it tastes so good. So we are going to get started on this really fast. Just gonna make it super simple. We're gonna remove all of the seeds from the insides. We're just gonna take a spoon here. This is the way I do it. I'm sure other people do it different ways. So I am back. I just washed these. I cleaned off my board. I just gave these a quick rinse, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut them up now. And I will show you just how they look once they are all cut. I'm gonna go ahead and put these away, wash the cutting board, and then I'm gonna move on to the cheese. Okay, I'm back to cut the cheese now. If you're trying to make them kid-friendly, it's always great to make them just cheese. If your pork ones are gonna be a little bit spicy and the kids don't want spicy, every year we just make a couple of just regular cheese, nothing else, and the kids love them. It's easier if you cut it, like I was telling you about the chilies earlier, if you cut it like this, it's so much easier to put inside of the tamale. Hi guys, I'm back. So I had mentioned yesterday in the beginning of the video that this was gonna be like a two-part video, like 2-day video. So yesterday I was prepping, getting all of the meat ready, cutting up the cheese and the jalapenos and all of that good stuff. Today, we are actually going to make the tamale where you put the masa on the corn husk and put the filling in it, and then we're gonna steam them, and we're even gonna try them on camera to make sure that they are what we're looking for. Every year we have a specific store in Las Vegas where we're from, where we purchase the masa already pre-made, ready to go, so I don't have to make the actual masa at home. I had a really hard time finding it here in Georgia, but I finally found it, so tonight I'm going to make a small batch of it just to make sure it is exactly what we want and we are not gonna like it. So we are gonna try it, and if it is good, then of course I will link it in the description box below. I just have a little bit here in a bowl. In the meantime, you're gonna wanna make sure that you soak your corn husk in some warm water. I would soak them for about 25 to 30 minutes or until they're pretty soft. That's what I'm gonna do now, and I will show you what is next. Okay, so I've got my little setup here to make it a little bit more simple on myself. This here is the pork that I made yesterday, the cheese and the jalapenos that I cut up, and my masa that is room temperature. That is the brand of the masa that we used. It is already pre-made, ready to go. If you're interested in making your own masa, there's tons of videos on YouTube for it. I just have never done it, and I'm not comfortable with doing it without like my sister-in-law or somebody to help me. I also have my corn husk that has been soaking in water. These are freshly soaked from warm water. There's a smooth side and a rough side. If I can remember correctly, we have always put it on the smooth side. I'm gonna use a different corn husk here. Basically, what I'm going to do is, you're gonna go ahead and get a spoonful of your masa, and you are just going to spread it. It should spread pretty easily. I went ahead and spread the masa again on the corn husk. I put the filling in the middle. I'm gonna fold it over, same exact way. Fold it over again, and then fold the bottom. Top is gonna go upright when we cook them. So now I'm just basically going to finish filling all of the remaining tamales that I have, and then I'm gonna throw them in the pot, and we're gonna steam them up, and we're gonna see how they taste. All right, guys, we are here ready to steam them up. I just made a couple because I really wanna make sure that the masa tastes good before making all of them. We are going to turn this to not all the way on high, but not medium, if that makes any sense. When you fill up your water, just make sure you don't fill it all the way to that line. Reason being is because it's gonna boil and then it's gonna bubble up, and you don't want this to get all wet. I mean, you are gonna have some corn husk in there to capture the moisture, but we don't want our tamales to get all soaking wet. So we wanna make sure that we do not fill the water too high. Now I'm going to line the inside of here and down here with corn husk, and I will show you that in just a second. Okay, I'll go ahead and show you the inside here now. We've got the bottom lined and the sides lined, and I'm gonna go ahead and stick the tamales in now. Take the back that's folded and lean it against. You can actually probably lay them down. Mine are a little bit too big to fit in this pot upright, so you can lay them down. However, as long as they're in there, try not to layer them too much, but you can stack more than one on top of each other. They're just all gonna steam together. So once they're all in there, they're all good to go. What I might do is just fold these over. See how they were too big because they're standing right up? I'm gonna fold them over and then lay a couple on top just to hold them down. And then we're gonna put the lid on it and we're gonna steam them. We have tamales. We cooked them. They're ready to eat. They look so good. They smell so good.
Yeah, look at my nose.
We are so excited to try them. Adam, what are those?
Tamales.
What are those?
Mario's.
Mario's?
Tamales.
Okay, I think we are gonna try them. You might want to be very careful. They're kind of hot. We have one with just cheese for the kids. We could have let them cool down a little bit longer. It looks so good. They smell so good.
I want to eat this part too, you can't.
No, baby, we don't eat that part. That's the corn husk.
Yeah.
You might want to be a little bit careful, okay? That one just has cheese only in it.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
That's hot.
Keep moving. I'll take a red one first.
Me?
They are very hot. See, that's how. See how it just peels right off of the corn husk? That's exactly how it's supposed to look. And then when you unravel it, it's just gonna fall right off. And there you have it. The longer that you let them cool, the more firm they're gonna become, but we couldn't wait.
I first want to try that.
That's chocolate.
Tomaso's not too bad.
I like it.
Me too.
I think it could be cooked a little bit longer though.
I think it's because we didn't let them sit firm long enough. They're so good.
Very good.
They taste just as good as if my sister-in-law made them, so that is a win.
I think if we let them sit, they're going to taste even better.
We need to let them sit for a little while, but they're so good. The ones that I made with the jalapenos are not even spicy. I made them that way mainly for the flavor. We removed all the seeds. You don't have to remove the seeds, but you totally can to make them less spicy. Here, try this one.
How's your tamales, okay?
Cool.
How is that, Adam?
Good. What's this?
Mommy's. Is that yummy? Looks like we have a winner for our tamales. They are great. We're so excited to
eat them for Christmas.
Yep, eat them for our Christmas. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna tell them to make sure you like our video and subscribe down below so we can continue to make more videos for you. All right, guys. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.